Before leaving, please remember to make a contribution to all of my thousands of hours of work here. PayPal, Patreon, or fundraiser in the description below or on the China Rising Radio Sinoland article page. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Tech News Flash, 5 for Friday. I keep adding stuff to this Word document, hyperlink after hyperlink after hyperlink. So I'm just going to the bottom 5 and I'll try to work my way up. Unbelievable what's going on in China. All right, number one. The world's first extremely low frequency, high power electromagnetic wave transmitter. And you can see the picture behind me. It looks just like a big radar. It is for earthquake prediction and exploration of underground mineral, oil, and gas resources. Ooh. That's a strategic advantage. It can detect low-frequency electromagnetic signals in a radius of thousands of kilometers and from a depth of 10 kilometers. And this is different. This is different than the previous ones. Could only work with a radius of several dozen kilometers. So this is like a quantum leap in the ability to use this new transmitter. Of course, the Chinese were the first ones to invent earthquake detection. You've probably seen that picture. I think it goes back to the Tang Dynasty, which would be, 600 to 900 AD. Where it had these little dragons, kind of like on swivels, and if there was any rumbling or shaking at all, it would trip the thing, and the water would drain down, and to alert the people. Anyway, so this is nothing new for the Chinese, and it was developed by the 7th Research Institute of China State Shipbuilding Corporation, state-owned, privatize everything, Europe and the United States and Canada and Australia. Go ahead. China will run, Chinese state-owned corporations will run circles around you. And he talks, this guy from the State Shipbuilding Corporation, significant strategic benefits. Now, and this is something else that the Chinese do. This was started in the 11th five-year plan from 2006 to 2010. So this now goes back to 15 years. All right. And so they have been working on this. It has been planned. It has been budgeted. They have, this is a long-term deal with potentially no profit or anything, but this is how the Chinese work. No similar device yet exists in the world. Can you imagine the advantage the Chinese now have with this in terms of underwater detection of minerals and oil and gas? My God. And anyway, it's the transmitter and China's first seismometer that can receive extremely low frequency electromagnetic signals sent by both artificial and natural resources has been built around the Chinese capital area, that's Beijing, of course, and seismic belt regions, that would be Sichuan, Yunnan, that whole area where the Himalaya, where the Himalaya mountains start. And of course, with this, they can use 5G, big data, artificial intelligence. Pretty amazing. Number 2. I can do that. All right. And 2020 was just ended. For the first time, China's 5G phone sales exceeded 4G sales. 150 million And they have 10 different companies. You think, oh, Huawei, and you may know Oppo and Vivo, but they have 10 5G manufacturers in China. This was reported by China Mobile, my Chinese phone company, for my Chinese phone number. And they started out in 2020 pretty expensive in the first quarter, and then the prices dropped down to 2,000 yuan, or about $290 in the middle of the year, and then down to about 1,500 yuan, which would be about $175 by the end of 2020. So I don't understand the West's reluctance to use 5G. Maybe just because they just can't do it yet, like the Chinese are. And of course, the Chinese will be able to use. They've got now hundreds of thousands of 5G base stations all over the country. The reason you need to have so many 5G stations is, and this is why I question why are people afraid of 5G? It is a higher energy microwave compared to the lower energy radio waves of 4G, but it doesn't penetrate. I mean, right now I'm sitting here, and wherever you're sitting, you're being bombarded with billions of radio waves plowing through your house and your car and your body and everything else. I mean, they're ubiquitous in modern technology. So the 5G, that's why they have to have so many reflectors and stuff all over the place, because it just cannot penetrate very far compared to 4G. And then 4G, of course, with 5G, they're going to have incredibly cool applications for their phone, etc. Even if I had a 5G phone here in France, I can't even use it. Pathetic. Global shipments of 5G smartphones, 200 million in 2020, 20 times more than 2019. All right. Number 3, or should I go 3, or should I go 3? This one's about drones. A Chengdu-based Tungden, Tengden technology company built the world's first large 3-engine utility drone. Of course, Chengdu is in Sichuan, right up there, at the headwaters. It's so beautiful. I traveled all through there on 40. When I wrote my first book, 44 Days Backpacking in China, it's just spectacular. And of course, Chengdu, Sichuan food, Sichuan tea houses, and that's where Deng Xiaoping is from, by the way. So they got this thing going. It's the first 3-engine one, and it's based on their twin-engine TB twin-tailed Scorpion. All right. What's cool about this one is because of that third engine, it has a maximum takeoff weight of 3.2 tons and can go 35 hours, 9,500 meters high and 300 kilometers an hour. It can go up into plateau areas. Thinking about all the stuff going on the border with India. It uses piston engines, not jet engines. It uses piston engines, which are low cost, long lifespans, and very efficient, and also because of more power, shorter takeoff. So it could be very useful for logistics, disaster areas, saving people, disaster relief, forest firefighting, geographical mapping, meteorological observation, aerial communication relay, etc. And get a load of this: if 2 of the engines go out, it can still stay afloat. Unbelievable. All right. Of course, China is like the world's leader in drones, but didn't the U.S. government ban DJI? I can't, which is the biggest drone maker in the world. They got this beautiful retail shop in Shenzhen. It's just spectacular. You walk in, it's like walking into an aerospace museum. And it's not just DJI. There's Aviation Industry Corporation of China's Wing Lung drones and China Aerospace Science Technology Corporation's CH Rainbow drones. Maybe they've also been banned too. I don't know. And then number 4. I'm not gonna try to do something different with that. I guess I could go like, there we go, 4. Researchers decode human hippocampus as a part of the limbic, the inner brain. Chinese researchers have mapped the developmental cells of the hippocampus, and you're going, well, big deal. It was actually published in Nature, so that gives you the importance of it. I mean, that's one of the world's preeminent scientific journals, because the hippocampus is important in the limbic system for spatial navigation, like, where am I? Where am I going? And the consolidation of information from memory. The reason this is important is that the hippocampus is where the Alzheimer's develops, and also epilepsy. So there could be some help in that area. Again, state-owned government. Institute of Biophysics under the Chinese Academy of Sciences, all government. Beijing Normal University, where my daughter graduated last year with a degree in human resources, and Beijing University, Peking, I think the Westerners call it. And so these are all government. So go on and privatize Europe and the West. Go on, privatize everything. This one's really interesting. This is number 5. I can't really do anything except this for 5, unless I use my 2 hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, here we go. Chinese scientists have found a coating for electronics that can dissipate heat from running devices, and it mimics mammals sweating. Can you believe that? And they were actually inspired by mammals sweating for evaporative cooling. So this is Shanghai Jiaotong University. Jiaotong, without even looking, I can tell you means communication university. There's a lot of Beijing communication. There's a bunch of them around the country. Anyway, they began researching the metal organic frameworks, MOFs, that can store a large amount of water and thus take away more heat when heated. And so they tested on aluminum sheets. I'm just going to round these numbers off: 200, 300, and 500 micrometers. We're talking about a very thin coating. And then they heated them on a hot plate. And without the coating, the aluminum plate got up to 60 degrees in 5 minutes, and with the thickest coating, it took to get to 60 degrees 19 minutes. So that's a huge difference. The other cool thing about this, pardon the pun, the other cool thing about this is the coatings can quickly recover by absorbing moisture again once the heat source is removed, just like mammals rehydrate and are ready to sweat again. I'm not sweating right now, man. It is frickin' freezing here in Normandy. -2 to -4 with a howling wind out of from Siberia coming from the east. It's brutal. So this is really suitable for devices that aren't running all the time, like phones, charging batteries, telecommunication base stations, 5G, all right, which can get overloaded sometimes. The only problem is cost. And so this is obviously still at the developmental stages. He said MOFs are apparently quite expensive. So he called for more research on the material, to bring down the cost in the future. All right. That, I think, makes 5 for China Tech News Flash, 5 for Friday. Thank you all for supporting me on Patreon. I'm just going to continue to put these on Brighteon so anybody can watch them. But because the way I'm just going to give you the link, and you can just go to Brighteon because I'm so upset with Patreon for their lousy service. Monopoly markets and rigged prices. So anyway, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. China Rising Radio Sinoland and China Tech News Flash signing out. Please make a contribution to all of my hard work. Thank you.